For KDSJ Local Sports, Clayson Davis reporting as we put a bow on all of our fall sports recaps before the winter sports starts up here before we know it for the high school level. Let's revisit the Spearfish Volleyball season this past fall as we are now joined by head coach of the Spearfish Lady Spartans, Coach Shelbie Richards. Coach, appreciate the time.
Yes.
So you had a few weeks to kind of digest all of the end of season happenings with, of course, your 9 seniors that you'll miss next year. And after state volleyball wrapped up, how would you grade your overall season for the Lady Spartans compared to your expectations going into this year?
They met all expectations. We fell short, obviously didn't make it to the state tournament like we all hoped. But looking back, this team was really fun, and we did everything that we kind of, planned and hoped. There was a few things that fell a little short with not winning that Black Hills Conference title. We tied for second again this year, and then that Sodak game, we fell short again. But overall, this season was really, really fun. We had great progress. It was a lot of fun and joy shared amongst the girls, which is always, the best part is sitting back and watching them enjoy it together. So I would say, all expectations were met. We just fell short when, in that one big game that we wanted to get over that last hump and make it to state. But overall, it was a great season for all of our girls in our program.
Looking at that Sodak 16 game, and that was a very hostile crowd there in Mitchell. Of course, you guys couldn't get the win for the Sodak 16, but recap that performance, and what do you feel like that your team learned going into next season?
You just hope that you can learn from every loss, and it's one that will always be remembered. And I would honestly tally Mitchell's performance up to one of the best that they had during the season. And they were in their home crowd, they were ready, and they came out fast. They were faster than kind of some of the game film that I had watched too, and they were in system. And I think that just goes, they played cleaner that night, and we finally put a run together in that third set, but just couldn't quite get it together. Our passing wasn't great, and taking away from that as a coach, I've just got to figure a way to add some pressure to these girls, and I think that's part of it. They don't know how to respond without adding more pressure to themselves, if that makes sense. And I think it's what we have said. We just need to make it our new norm and get in those situations more often so we're not so shocked or worried about, carrying it all on our shoulders where we have our teammates to lean on. And I hope we just keep learning from it and then just keep getting ourselves in those positions year after year.
Of course, you're losing a big senior class from this past season. You'll be losing your 5-year starting setter in Callie Reiners as she's continuing her collegiate and volleyball career at Chadron State. Also, you're losing Addie Bowman as well as a few others, but talk about what this senior crop has meant to the volleyball program and what impact did they leave here in their last season.
They left a massive impact. They are the kind of the group. I've been in Spearfish 6 years. This is my 4th year as head coach. So these kids have been through the entire program with me, and they're a very special group. Like, to have 9 of them stick it out is unheard of when you think of volleyball in itself. You don't usually have a class that big. And so that's just going to be a whole nother layer that we have to cross together, because that's literally all of the girls that played minus Addie Keller and Julia Billington for us. So they led by example, though. They're leaving this program beyond the wins and losses in a great spot. When I took over 4 years ago, we had some culture shifts that we had to take care of and just kind of get back to the true core of sports and what we really wanted to be as a program. And they led the way with that, especially Callie. She saw on both ends of it, being 5 years with us. And then this year really was hard because Addie Bowman, Callie, Faith, and then Tabby out of that senior group were with me on the varsity the longest. And then those other girls, they were on that JV team last year that we practiced every practice last year together with them. So it's like I had them. So that's going to be the biggest void to fill, is just not having those guys lead in the gym and like they're fun. And just having that experience is going to be different for us. But we do have some kids coming up that saw, how these guys led and what it takes to get to a winning season essentially and be in that top 10 in the Sodak. So I hope that everyone just kind of learned from it and they just step up, and they have big roles to fill. But it might not be all butterflies and rainbows next year, but I hope that it just keeps growing and building, and we just keep leading the program's values in the right direction rather than just always looking at the wins and losses.
As head coach Shelbie Richards from the Spearfish Lady Spartan Volleyball program joins us on KDSJ Sports to recap the 2025 fall season. Now, as you turn to the offseason, Coach, who are you looking to lead some of those workouts and offseason activities before 2026 rolls around the corner?
Well, we will do like youth camp in April, where our older girls come back and help, and then we have open gyms the month of April, and then the first week of May, and then we give them May off, and then right away in June we start open gyms. We'll do two open gyms a week, and then we'll go to 2 team camps together, and just really looking to get those girls in and keep working. And that's one thing with this program as a whole. We have kids that have awesome work ethic, and they want to get better, and they want to learn the game of volleyball, and it's just really fun to see their light bulbs come on of like, oh, this is what you're talking about. And it's something that they only can learn by playing. And you have to see it, and they just have to work together. And that's how this program is going to stay strong, is that they all show up in the off season and put in the work. They'll do their lifting in the summer as well, 4 times a week. And so that's been a huge improvement for us in jumping. Sands has done a great job with the girls, and we're just looking forward to getting them back in the gym as soon as we can, but we'll enjoy basketball season first.
Who do you expect to take the next leap into next season?
Julie Billington will be in there with us for sure, and then Addie Keller, she'll be back. So those 2 are the most experienced players we'll be bringing back. And then Piper Jacobs, she saw some court time. She was with us all this season, and then it's really hard to say. We have some juniors in there, but we only had 5 this year. So that class is really small compared to the one that we're losing. And look at like Avery Dahl and Caitlin Lyon, and just some of those girls will step in. But then the reality is we got to start looking at those younger girls and starting to push them and fill those spots. Kayla Burry is probably going to step into a massive role for us, potentially in the middle or right side. And we'll just kind of let the chips fall where they may. That freshman class is good, solid. The incoming freshmen are going to be a really solid group as well. And we'll work hard and do the best we can.
Recap quickly your JV and your C team, some of those development teams this season, Coach, and what did you see from them that you looking forward to using potentially with varsity next year?
They were over 500, I believe, or right at 500. And again, like their work ethic is what sticks out the most when I think about those girls. And they show up, they do the off-season stuff, they do the best they can, and they want to get better. And like that's what you sometimes don't always see, is girls asking questions to actually understand the game of volleyball, because there's more to it than just keeping the ball alive. There's a art to it and understanding like court movement and eye work, and that's what's always been the best, is when they ask those deeper questions. And that's kind of what we're starting to see with this group. And our fundamentals are a lot higher than where they were 4 years ago. So I kind of put that towards the youth camp we do. And we're going to look a lot different. I mean, once you lose a 5-year starting setter, your team naturally looks different. And then we won't have Addie Bowman out there playing all the way around, or Tabby in the middle blocking. So we're going to look different, but I think we're going to be filling in with some really good players that are just awesome humans also. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Coach, you also helped out with the state tournaments the few weeks ago as well, and talk about your role with the state tournaments in Rapid and what you observed from some of the best volleyball teams in the state, and if there were any tidbits or lessons that you kind of picked up on that you might possibly look to use with your team next season.
Yeah, so we went down and helped take stats. So at the state tournament, we only take positive stats, so kills, digs, aces, blocks, and so we take those for the team. So we're right down there, right behind the court. So I'm sure if people were watching, they saw me a few times, and it's always fun to see the state tournament and just get to talk to all those coaches across the state in good ways. I mean, you get to talk to them, and it's always good sometimes to hear that maybe they had some of the same issues. You don't feel like, you're on a lone island, like, man, am I doing something wrong, or did I do something wrong to cause this? And so it's always nice just to get that conversation piece going. And the one thing I always am just blown away by is if anybody watched that B tournament, they are not the tallest, but they are the mightiest little go-getters that anybody will watch play volleyball. And so I think we just want to make sure we bring in the aspect of hustling, and we might have to turn our, our thought process and like our goal back into defense. And if our defense can give our offense chances, we will put the ball down or make the other team make a mistake. So if you look at the Chesters and Warner, they're not the tallest across the board, but they put up a block, they hustle, they're scrappy. So I think that's one takeaway just watching the state tournament is just the hustle side of things to keep the ball alive really does kind of earn you a point because it forces the other team to make the mistake. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, gosh, Harrisburg, right? And watching Gabby Zachariason one more time hit 10-foot line, that was always fun. And there is a girl from Del Rapids that's signed to go to Oregon. So that's pretty cool to start seeing just volleyball in general take off in South Dakota and these kids going to play big time. I mean, there's some other recruits out there too that are in all the classes that were there. And it was just really cool to see. And Bennett County, I know maybe people have followed that story, but that family, the O'Neills, they are athletes. And that was just really cool just to see in person and watch them play. And it's always just a good time at the state tournament.
That's awesome. And Coach, finally, I know it's a little bit early to maybe ask this question, but knowing what you're returning next season and you have a whole off season to get better, what do you feel like are some of the goals and expectations for 2026?
I think the biggest thing is we've just got to focus and compete on our side. We are hopefully getting our schedule changed just a little bit where we won't see 3 of those A schools. So that'll be adding in Stevens and Central twice for us, and maybe we're trying to figure out who else to pick up at this point. But so our schedule is going to look a little bit different, which that's what I want. Our A schools, they go on their runs and they compete. I mean, look at STM and Christian. They're both at the state tournament this year. So not taking anything away from those guys, but from the point of view, if anyone follows the standings, is when we're AA playing A schools, we actually lose 2 points no matter if we win or lose. And then, if they're below 500, then you lose more points. And so just seeing that consistent pace and seeing Central and Stevens twice, I think is really going to benefit us. So our record might not, be the same as the last 2 years, but all I ask is that these girls compete and grow. And hopefully, you take 1 year to kind of let the chips get back into place and we compete. And obviously we want to get out there and win, but just kind of set ourselves up for success. And I'm shooting still to be top 3 in whatever conference we're in. I don't know if we're splitting completely yet. That's all kind of up in the air, but for sure that. And then obviously we always want to be over 500. That's always been a goal when I started taking over. And I think it'd be pretty easy to even get us at that 750 mark because I think these girls are going to surprise us and really rise to the occasion, knowing that 9 seniors left, but they also got to see all the work they put in and they're kind of all excited to get in the off season. So that's kind of where I'm looking at for next year is just some of these younger kids are really going to step up. And I think that they're going to surprise us even on the progress they're going to make in the off season and just start hungry next year.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Coach Richards, thank you for the time joining us with KDSJ Sports, and not only today, but throughout this whole season. And we're looking forward to what the Lady Spartans have in store for 2026.
Yes, thank you. And we'll be seeing you around for basketball for sure.